better driver than Max and Lewis on the. Oh, fuck this. No.
It's him and Max together and then Lewis on. I think George is going to win championships.
Yeah, I think he could, but
He's so talented.
Coming now for the mountain.
Real pace. Charles Leclerc has coped brilliantly. He won in Spa. He wins in Monza.
Inside the 20. Cook is chasing Munster. Munster, yes.
Balotelli. Aguero. Staggering. Just staggering.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Dose Sports Podcast. Real exciting week in just me and Charlie's camp, really. Both our teams make it to the NRL finals. There's also AFL finals. Strong, I know even your team's out in that. Strong. You're not having a good time, are you? And then give me a dose. We'll look at F1, a few moves, the golf, and also a bit of US Open. So it's a massive week of sport. But we'll get right into. We posted our report cards on Instagram. Go check it out if you already haven't. The Dose Sports Podcast on Instagram. We had me and Charlie had a fairly similar list. I think Strongy was the one who had the most differences. I think we were just going to talk about our differences in the list.
I'll just tell you how I judged it firstly.
Yeah, sure.
So I had like 3 bits of my criteria. So like performance, how they perform relative to like the start of year expectation. Then how they faced adversity during the year, and then where they stand going into next year and beyond. That was my third. So just put that out there.
Yeah, so I went somewhat fairly similar. I thought if you come in the top, top 4, you already automatically guarantee an A, like at minimum. And then depending on how I thought you would have gone before the season, depends, you get a plus or minus. Then obviously below that, you wouldn't see an F in the top 8. You'd get B's and C's, and just one exception with Newcastle, I gave it D plus, just because I thought if they would get more wins, even though their position would be pretty similar. I thought they would get a lot more wins, and the competition wouldn't be a top 6 and bottom 12 sort of situation like it is now. And then obviously the bottom ones, depending on how their rosters and stuff, where I expected them to come, that's sort of where I gave them the letters. So I think we'll start with, the first one, Strongy, you gave Storm an A compared to A plus. I'm not too sure how that's happened after a record-breaking season.
It's an A. I would take an A. I mean, it's hard to measure, but I don't know. I thought it was just a stock Storm season. I wasn't worried about Cam Smith leaving. I didn't think he was going to leave a void. I'll put it out there. I don't think Cam Smith is that type of player that he leaves a void.
Yeah, right.
He doesn't. And some players do. Well, some players, the void they leave really hard to cover. Tommy's an obvious example. Manly don't have Tommy. The scoreboard literally swings by 40 points. I just didn't think Cam Smith was going to. Them not having Cam Smith was going to be a problem. And part of that was me watched Harry Grant intently for the year prior. So I just thought they went about their business. And it's still hard to grade a team until the finals are done. Storm sit at an A. Storm win the comp, and then it's obviously an A plus. You win the comp. But for now, for the Storm, like the last 10 years have been, like the A's kind of the pass of the season. They finish top 4, get the home final. Off you go. I don't think they face too much adversity either. If for Chuck's point,
as a Storm fan, I would say I was more than what I thought. Coming into this, I thought this was probably going to be our worst season. Like in terms of like maybe that sort of period in like 2014, where we sort of didn't really push for anything, and it was sort of we don't win those close games and don't win those big games. But I think I was surprised with that rating. I thought with Cam Smith leaving, I'm
not surprised. I'm concerned. Like I'm going, hang on, Strongy, are you all right? Like,
I mean, he is the greatest player we've ever seen. He wins games for fun.
Yeah, but then Storm have gone out and broken the drought, and it looks like they haven't.
Yeah, that's why I think it should be an A plus because
I just think the main thing we've made, like with Pappenhausen being out for a while, and how Hines performed, it's almost like Pap's question like his starting spot's been questioned. Like,
Yeah.
it's just insane. I don't know. Yeah,
Yeah.
just their ability. You know, they've missed Slater, Cronk, and now Smith last year, and then they've got Pappen, Hines, Hughes, and Smith, and Grant. All to like, fill the void. It's pretty far. So.
It's
If you
gross.
look at report cards, there's not usually 3 A pluses in any sport. There's like 1 A plus. I'm not dishing mine out for fun, mate.
You dished out 2.
Yeah, I didn't dish out 3 though, like you fucking nuffies. I've dished them out very carefully. My A pluses. I didn't want to waste it. We're yet to see on Storm.
I think the next one, I think Rabbitohs were all fairly similar. B plus A minus. That's pretty much like.
Wait, why did everyone have Panthers A plus?
Yeah, we just saw that on map. Like, I mean, I thought they were going to drop off a lot this season. I thought they were going to be sort of one season wonder, but Nathan Cleary's taking his game to another level. And look, the market might not suggest it, but I think they're probably going in equal favourites with Storm at the moment to win the premiership. Yeah, equal or probably favourites
to take it out. So
fair enough. I've got to back my boys, but yeah, I think it's pretty obvious why they've got an A plus. They break a record in longest games without a loss to start a season, I think.
Yeah, something like that. And haven't lost without Cleary. And I was worried because the season was back to full length that they might have a come down from last year. But
yeah, because they didn't last year. They didn't have any injuries or any. They sort of had a perfect season, roster wise. So yeah. Roosters, Manly, we all gave A and A plus respectively. Strong's on C plus for the Eels. Any compared to B plus for China? Any reason for that?
Yeah, well, because my benchmark for the Eels was top 4 and to make a prelim or a granny. And at this rate, it doesn't look like it. I think one thing that the Eels desperately wanted out of their season, out of their home and away season, was this drop off at the back end. It's happened 3 years now in a row. But no, I'm a staunch supporter of like the Eels squad. I think they've got a great squad. I think they're in the premiership window. I think what they delivered in the back 6 weeks of the comp was absolutely putrid.
I think I have to disagree.
But
I got a couple points there, Strongy. So
yeah. All right, go on, mate. Pull this bullshit out.
Yeah, well, I had them finishing top 4.
Yeah.
And because they didn't, I was initially sitting at like a B minus or around a C because they didn't. But they beat Melbourne twice, and they like if Moses could kick, we beat Penrith once, so that could have been 3 out of 4 wins against the top 2 side.
Yeah, and
beat 2 of them.
And Chuck, 6 foot taller, I'd be playing in the NBA as the tallest man on earth. It doesn't matter because it's not fucking happening.
No, but it's. I know what you mean. Like you've beaten Storm twice. Like based on why I gave him a B plus was at the start of the season I had him either 5th or 6th. I'm not too sure. I don't think they have a top 4 like roster by like any means. They not any means. They don't have a.
No,
we can have a top 4 roster, but not a contender. Like
they're not a contender. They're a top 4 roster in terms of like they're a regular season. They're good, but I don't think they have the talent to trouble those 4 teams above them.
I would argue that they've got the most underrated hooker in the comp. Arguably one of the most underrated 7.
I rate Reid Marnie. I think he's one of the best hookers in the comp, so I wouldn't say he's underrated.
Reid Marnie, I think, is heavily underrated for how good he is.
I think he's probably the 2nd or 3rd, but
yeah. Second best fullback in the comp this year. I don't think, I think the team underperformed.
2nd best fullback.
Yeah, and
Tedesco and Trebojevic.
On form, he was probably the 2nd best fullback.
Above Tedesco.
I think his form is more dynamic this year than I think Teddy, although statistically had a good year, I think Teddy had a lull. I think this year was a bit of a throw. This is a throwaway year for the Roosters. They're not going to win the comp. They're only.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean Teddy didn't play well the whole season.
I think Gutho had more of an impact on Eels results than Teddy did.
Really? I think with the injuries they had, I think Tedesco has stepped up massively this year.
I think he's been fucking good. I think Gutho has literally single-handedly pulled Parramatta's fucking hand out of their ass on 12 different occasions.
Oh, I disagree with that. I thought
You don't reckon Gutho...
Gutho's had a slightly not below average, but
For the last 6 weeks.
probably worse than last year's season.
If we're looking at
For the last 6 weeks. Everything came
he was
last 6 weeks.
he's good.
he's not the second best.
No. But Johnny and Strong, back to your point about our form dip at the end, I reckon in previous years, we just start to capitulate after that shit month of footy. But this year we came back to beat Melbourne.
I think that's a massive result. That is a massive result.
So we're heading into the final with confidence.
I don't think the result mattered in the slightest. I thought
it gives them so much more confidence knowing that they can go on.
The confidence just gets blown when you rest your whole team. Like
not really, because you just know it's your B-Tech team going out to play.
There's fucking science to resting players, and
here we go.
There is, and I don't back the idea. I don't reckon any sports scientist would say, rest your whole team the week before finals. It's a good idea. It's not.
So why has every team except Penrith done that?
Not every team except. Well, I just don't think it's a good idea. I don't think it's a good idea. I think it's stupid.
No, I disagree with that because of COVID. Just because your bench players aren't playing enough rugby because of no New South Wales.
That's the only argument I got is that you need to give your bench players more games.
Well, Storm did it last year, and I'm fairly sure Panthers also did it last year. And they're the two that end up in the grand final. I think resting is key.
The level power and
Storm didn't have any of their top 7 last year against the Dragons in the last round.
No. I mean, Para literally had 3 players that would get picked in their starting 17. 3.
Yeah, we had Cooper Johns, Riley Jack starting in ours. That's the level we were going at last year. But anyway, we'll move on. Knights, we had a very sort of a D+, B- and strong C. I think just for me, I thought Knights would be, 3 or 4 wins further in than they are at the moment. I think they've been the biggest underperformers, along with biggest underperformers with the Raiders this year, for sure. Titans? I thought they pretty bang on where I thought they would come.
Yeah, I would have had Knights if I just looked at the ladder without how many wins they had and stuff like that. I would have given them an A- just for coming 6.
Yeah. 7.
Because they were way off for 7th, sorry. But because they were way off 6, 3 wins or something.
Yeah.
And a massive negative point difference and have looked shithouse on occasions.
Yeah.
Just that turned A- into a B-.
Yeah, for sure.
My C+ is solely because of the gap between 7th and 8th in points.
Yeah,
I thought if they played better footy throughout the year, that they would have pushed top 6. They'll probably not have made it, but they would have played better footy. The footy they've put out
is so bad. It's been so bad. They've scraped past teams for 2 points. It's not with that roster, you shouldn't be scraping past teams really, especially if they're below you on the ladder. I think we all had Raiders, Sharks at similar points as well, and then. The main difference, I think we'll look at near the bottom of the ladder. We all had Broncos. Chuck and I had Broncos at C. Strongy, you had Broncos at F. Any sort of?
Oh, can we go back to how the fuck you guys have Dragons as B?
I thought they were in the top 8 for so long before, obviously, Barbecue Gate. So I thought they were going fantastic.
Yeah, I didn't think they were going to perform.
I had them coming 15th.
Oh, sorry. I thought going into the season, I thought they'd push for the top 8.
I had it 15th.
I had them as a spoon contender.
Yeah,
I had them right in that bracket where it was kind of 7th to 12th where they really did finish, and they were leading that way. So I don't think it was. I don't know. Yeah, I think it's hard to give them a B.
I had them as spoon contenders.
They do well.
Yeah,
The Dragons do well. They capitulated their season.
No, but like their rosters, like I would say compared to probably, like it's very similar to a Tigers roster and a very similar to a Cowboys roster. I'd say. I thought I had them at spoon. I think I had them at spoon.
yeah, Tigers a spoon.
Tigers a spoon, and then Dragons both. Yeah,
I had them for the spoon.
yeah.
So just on that, A- for where they came. But then, like how they sort of faded away, being in the 8 for like half the season, and how they were performing up to the barbecue gate, dropped them points. But in fairness, some of the young players were standing up.
Tara Sloan, I think he's
during the end of the year where they're playing pretty shit.
Yeah,
so that was also a good thing
for sure.
Can we go through their team quickly? So they have Andrew McCulloch.
Yeah, he got brought in halfway too.
He was injured as well.
Yeah, and injured.
Andrew McCulloch, Tarek Sims.
Yeah, I don't rate Tarek Sims.
Andrew,
Tarek.
McGuire, Ben Hunt, Corey Norman, Zach.
Josh McGuire. All these people came in not
Dufty.
Straight in.
Corey Norman's washed.
Ben
washed. Hunt was very good. He got.
But no one expected. The thing is, before the season, no one expected Ben Hunt to be good. That's why,
I still think Ben Hunt's a good footy player.
No one expected Ben Hunt.
Ben Hunt to play enough footy.
I think he's a 9. Like when I watch him in Origin, I thought he's
9. I don't think he's 9.
He's great at Origin 9. But
he's not a 9.
Benny Hunt should have taken less coin to go onto a better team because he'd be fucking commanding 7. But he's just not. He's just not in a good. He's just not at the right place. I reckon.
Anyway, we could talk about it for a few years. I think the main ones, Broncos. You had Broncos at F. I think that's the biggest score differential we had.
Shark had Cowboys as well.
Yeah.
All right, so you guys wanted me to go over the Broncos.
Yeah.
Let me just find my little rant. Real quick. Where was it? Fuck me, we're scrolling up. Jesus Christ. Okay, we'll cut this bit out of the potty because where did I send mine? Oh yeah, here it is. Okay. So start with I think that there's going to be controversy with Payne Haas. So I think my sole answer for F is that I think this season didn't answer any of the questions if you were a Broncos fan. I don't think there was a clear direction forward, and I don't think mixing
direction forward.
No direction forward.
Holy demon!
Oh shit!
I don't know. I actually don't understand how you can come to that.
Just signed it to Stags on $800K for 4 years. Who you guys think is not going to play 6?
Well, it doesn't matter where he's going to play. It's about the results they produced this season.
There's not matter the way you look at it. Tony Staggs is going to be overpaid at centre by a fucking country mile. Tony Staggs needs to play 6 for them to get value for their money.
It's not about value for their money. It doesn't matter about value for the money anymore. What we're comparing to stuff now. We're talking about where they were last year.
Yeah,
dead last. I
don't think they showed. No, I think it's still an F.
Dead last. They had no desire to defend. The last, I'd say 6 to 8 weeks, they've beaten the Roosters this year when they were in the worst form of their life, and they've also come in and put in I think they would be close to top 8 in the last 6 weeks if the ladder was based on the last 6 weeks.
Yeah, that's how. You know what, Johnny? Too bad it's not because the ladder isn't based on the last 6 weeks.
Yeah, but if you're talking about improvement from last year,
all these hypotheticals, it doesn't mean fucking anything because when the season's done, when they realise when you mathematically are not a chance for the 8, from 8 weeks.
Yeah, they had a new coach. Kevy's been thrown under the bus, taking the Broncos on, and. Yeah. It's showing that what him and Benny Arkin are putting in place.
I think Benny Arkin's been a good signing, but I think just go over it. So they lose Xavier Coates. I think Xavier Coates is a huge loss. I think the Tony Staggs on $800K isn't good. You can't look at it in any way and say $800K for his centre.
Well, you can look at him when he played this year. They looked a lot better. You can look at it.
But I don't think he's $800K centre. they've now fucked around with Tessie New to the point where they weren't going to sign him. Now they've re-signed him. They've lost Tommy Dearden, who was supposed to be a young gun.
Yeah, but Tommy Dearden sucks compared to who they're bringing in now. They've brought in Adam Reynolds. I don't understand how that's.
Adam Reynolds is on the early side of 30 on a 4-year deal.
He's still one of the best halves in the comp. I don't understand how you're comparing him to Tom Dearden.
Because you're talking about a player that's 20, has a huge potential, comparing to Adam Reynolds, where you know what you're going to get. Broncos aren't going to push for a premiership next year. They're not going to push for. I don't think they're going to push for a premiership with Adam Reynolds there.
I don't think their aim is to push for a premiership. The aim is just to make the 8, which I think he'll make them get them to the 8, and to develop a culture, and school the halves coming through. That's what he's there. He's not there to win a premiership. I don't think Adam Reynolds is going there expecting to win a premiership. He's there to set a foundation for the rest of the young guns coming through that they've clearly lost before.
Adam Reynolds has been signed on $1 million to move to Brisbane. Adam Reynolds is signed to win a premiership. The Adam Reynolds deal is about winning a premiership.
No, it's not. It's so far from that.
I'm sorry, you do realise the Broncos are the biggest club in NRL. Like, no matter what way you look at it, when the biggest club in the league fails to make the 8, the season's automatically an F. You don't want the biggest team in the club.
So your solution is, we've missed the 8, so let's aim for the premiership next year. No, it's not. It's to get back into the 8. That's their sole expectation.
A fucking win-lose business, brother. You've got to win. And especially when you're the biggest team in the comp. Like, let's just get that out there.
Okay. Do you think the Tigers go into the last 3 years going to win a premiership?
Because it's a professional sport. You go into every season wanting.
No, they don't.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. Like, the coaching staff probably have high expectations, but the board and higher up are going more realistic. I think,
realistic, exactly. More realistic.
If
there's always going to be realism. No one's going to be unrealistic, but the aim every year will be to win the fucking premiership. Just so you guys understand that, yes.
You think Trent Barrett's going in this year? Yeah, we're going to win the premiership, boys. No, he's not. He's not. He's not even thinking of making the 8. He's just trying to improve from last year.
Mate, improvement doesn't keep your job, just so you guys understand. Improvement doesn't keep your job.
What does?
It depends what the board reckon. Like, Trent Barrett's gone out and said where it's going to take time to rebuild, and that's a lot of the reason why the board want to keep him in.
Trent Barrett the one club, we've already been over this. It was the only club that came out and said that this year.
I think Kevin Walters was pretty clear with that as well. He didn't say it explicitly, but
it doesn't matter. That's not the expectation of the Broncos. The expectation of the Broncos is to be in the finals and push for the 8 every year.
Was it your expectation at the start of the year?
Being the 8.
Where did you expect the Broncos? I expected them to finish 14th.
Where did I expect the Broncos?
With 2 wins.
For the Broncos, it is a failure. It's the exact same as this.
No, I'm asking you, where do you expect them to finish on the ladder?
Next year.
No, this year. At the start of the season.
I don't make much of the roster. 14th, 16th.
Yeah, so that should be a C.
When you have a season like this, there's got to be answers. They chop and change their halves.
There's answers. They've got good solid finish to the year. Reynolds, Capewell, Staggs being fit. There's some.
I think compared to some of the clubs above them, I think they've got a lot clearer direction, especially where your boys are going as well.
I don't think Renault and Gamble are going to change anything. I don't think Gamble's a 6. I don't think Gamble's a fucking 6. Where's this idea that Gamble's a 6 come from? He's not. He's not an NRL standard 6. He won't play 6 all next year. He won't.
Why not? He's literally one of the sole reasons that they've won most of their games.
Cause as well. If anything, I would have kept Brady Croft to play alongside Renault.
Brady Croft is clearly just bad. It's just.
He's clearly been in a grand final. He's not a 24-year-old mid-age recruit that left the West Tigers because he wasn't starting. That's what Tyson Gamble did.
Strongy, we know this. Any player that leaves the West Tigers becomes a much better player.
I've watched Tyson Gamble. I've watched him a lot of times. I don't think he's that good.
He's not skills-wise good, but the attitude and defense, like especially defensively, is fantastic.
It doesn't get you a tick. That doesn't get you a tick in a professional sport. Oh, he wants to win.
I think it does. I think he's fitting straight in one of your Tigers roster, the way they defend at the moment.
You go for the Storm and you don't even live in Melbourne. Don't get me started on this.
You can't just bring up that argument when you're losing an argument. It doesn't work like that. It doesn't work like that.
FL's wrong. It's just wrong.
It's just wrong.
It's just wrong. If they finished bad, like the last 6 weeks, even though they didn't win every game, but they looked fucking impressive.
They've beaten top 8 teams.
Yeah, and having a good end to the year.
Yeah, the season was there.
Especially the new coach, it shows that there's something's changing a little bit anyway.
Nothing's changing. It's an F. The season's an F. You can't finish 14th or 15th and say the season is anything but a failure. There's no other way. It's not a club that came out with the expectation to just slowly build over the next 4 or 5 years. The signing of Reynolds means they want success now and they expect it, and they're not going to get it. It's the season's an F.
Righto. Yeah, we'll just move on from that. We'll jump into the finals. We've spent a lot of time reviewing our scorecards. We'll jump into the finals preview this week. Storm versus Eagles Friday night. Absolute belter of a game. Big inclusions. Munster's back in. The only missing piece for Storm from being full strength, I think, this week is Josh Adokar, not back from, I'm not sure, hamstring injury. But yeah, side's pretty much
fair play. Joshy, he got mowed down by Junior Paulo. So the only logical thing is Hammy's gone.
Yeah.
His ego's had to, like, his ego remains intact, but he's had to sacrifice a couple of weeks on the sideline.
Yeah. My questions coming into this game. Look, last week Storm probably still not back to their best, but it's hard to say without everyone in. But Pappenhausen that's probably the game he needed. Like, looking at this season so far, coming back, he looked tentative, but that's it. Game against the Sharks, a hat trick, over 200 run meters. I think he looked back to his best again.
Yeah.
Yeah, had a good game.
Yeah, the question is, can they hold Trbojevic off? And yeah, the form he's in, out of this world. He scored one of the best tries I've seen, solo tries, just bounced off about 12 blokes, run around the whole team. Yeah.
I saw a stat. A Gussie Gould ripped this one out, and he said whenever Turbo has less than 7 days recovery time between matches, he performs at, like, statistically 50% worse. And it's a 6-day turnaround, so it's bye-bye Turbo, bye-bye Manly, straight set bounce out. That's what
I thought you want Manly to win.
No, I like it's a win-win, lose-lose for me. Like, I hate both teams with a passion.
This is a lose-lose game. There is no winner in this game for anyone.
There is. Like,
there's a winner right here if we win.
One team's getting bounced out week 2 by Chookies, and the other team's getting bounced out in the prelim by Para. So
I think this side, these two teams can easily lose this game and go back around and beat pretty much everyone else in the comp.
I think Manly are on a hot streak, but I think it'll be hard to beat the Storm.
Yeah, my question with Manly is still, are they flat tracks or not?
Yeah. The only confidence I have going into this game is we only played Manly about 4 or 5 weeks ago now. I can't remember exactly how long ago. Pretty similar team. I think we had probably less people in, and our forms are fairly similar, I'd say. And we still got the job done over them. So that's the only bit of confidence I have going into this. But I think I'm not sure if Turbo stepped up another level since then, or if the rest of the team. I think the key is, can the rest of the team perform if Turbo is shut down? I think Melbourne's very good at isolating key players and shutting them down. I think Daly, Cherry Evans, Josh Schuster, Kieran Foran step up against the Storm. I think that's where they'll win, if they can win against the Storm.
I think the bench is will probably win it for the Storm.
Yeah, that is a great bench.
I still think when you line the teams up on paper, that Storm just dominate Manly on paper. But the bench of Grant, Tui, Nass and Hines compared to, like, Walker, Lord and Kepi and Paseka, I know what bench I'm taking every single fucking day of the week, and it's not the one with Dylan Walker on it. Like,
Yeah.
I don't. I think there's a possibility for Manly to get a run going. I think if Manly beat the Storm, then I wouldn't be hesitant to say that they can win the grand final, but I reckon Storm will do it. They'll fuck with Manly's edges all day, and they'll open up holes.
I was listening to Cooper Cronk this morning saying how he would defend Travojevic. Says
Yeah, it was interesting, wasn't it? It was
that he'd overload.
Sacrifice aside and double Turbo almost.
So like put 7 on one side or put a fullback up on the line on that side. I think that's fairly interesting. Like that just shows how much of a threat he is. Like you're willing to give up this another side.
Because they got like on the right side, like the fastest wing in the comp, arguably, and then Garrick's not too shabby either.
Yeah.
Sacrificing numbers on like a short side or whatever. If the winger can get space.
It's interesting. Your tips going in for this game?
Just what I want to happen is Melbourne to win. I think, I don't know.
Well, hang on. In the chat, you've gone, no, I want Melbourne to get bounced.
I want both teams to get bounced, but only one can happen. So
Maybe,
I feel like Melbourne just, I don't know why, but more confident we can beat Melbourne on our day than Manly. I don't know.
I know what you mean. Yeah.
Storm.
Yeah, I think I'm going Storm as well. Saturday afternoon, Roosters versus Titans. I think fairly interesting half selection from the Roosters. When I initially saw the team sheet, Sam Walker pretty much started all year except last game. He's not starting in this final. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, Robbo was saying like it's been named like that for like the last 2 or 3 weeks, and Robbo's going, "Yeah, we're resting him." No, you're not.
No.
I don't know.
No.
I don't mind it. Like it's against. Oh, I can't remember who it was against. The first time it happened, he came on and showed a bit of an impact off the bench. Sam Walker.
Oh, Dragons.
Yeah, it could be Dragons.
Yeah, I think
it was
Robbo knows. I think Robbo knows that Sammy Walker's a bit of a training cone in terms of his defensive work. That's why he's not starting.
Yeah, I think
I reckon that's the genuine reason to why I think Sammy Walker will just get picked apart if he plays 80 minutes at 7, whereas Lamb's much more seasoned. Like he's physically bigger.
Oh, sound defensively.
Yeah, he's much more defensively, and all the sevens are fairly strong defenders. I think Sammy Walker would have definitely been the weakest 7 defending out of everyone else in the 8.
Yeah, that's fair. Josh Morris. I think Josh Morris is back in this week, or was he in last week?
It was in last week.
Victor Radley and JWH are the main
massive
ins for the Roosters. I think.
There's something about the Chooks pack. I fucking love their back three. I love Satili, Crichton, Radley. I reckon it could be arguably the best.
Yeah, it's up there, definitely.
Sure.
Titans, on the other hand, coming off probably one of their better performances of the year. I think the most pleasing thing if I was a Titans fan is keeping a side to nil. I think even though you just put 44 on them, keeping them to nil, that's the most pleasing thing, regardless of who they are. Jaden Campbell, I thought no AJ Brimson. I thought see a Titans. He sort of stepped up with 3 games of first grade and showed them what it's about. I think it's, on my opinion, I think it's going to be a lot closer than people think this game.
I originally thought that if the Titans and the Knights got a good run into the finals, that they could knock off whoever 5th and 6th was, but I don't reckon anymore. I think it's not. No other team's coming in particularly hot to the finals, and if you're 6th or 7th, like that's exactly what you want to be doing. So I don't think it's going to be like a 30-point blowout, but I think the Chooks should win convincingly.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Chooks
looked good last week, and they've just got more inclusions. You got to back them. Titans too hot and cold for me still.
For sure. What are your thoughts on little Jared Wallace arcing up to Matty Lodge? Who do you think wins in that little bout?
Oh, I mean, one's gonna break into your house at midnight, and the other one's like a fucking potato farmer. So,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Props to potato farmer.
Keep your doors locked overnight, Johnny. So I reckon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, if I was with Jared Wallace, yes, I would.
Yes. Keep it locked.
Next game, Chip, so you're getting Roosters for the win there.
Yeah.
I'm just going to go for the upset. I'm just going to go Titans just for an upset. Souths versus Panthers. I think it's probably it will be the least close of the finals games of the weekend, I reckon. I think Penrith are a step ahead. And no with Tron Mitchell. I don't think Souths have the weaponry to take. I'm not sure like where they can beat them without Latrell Mitchell.
That's fair.
Yeah.
But
I still think Souths have got it in them to do it. It's just whether they're going to do it. Are they going to put an 80-minute defensive effort in? Are they going to put an 80-minute attacking effort in? If they do, I think they can beat anyone in the comp. If they don't, then
the problem is all year they haven't put an 80-minute defensive performance in. That's the problem.
Wayne will get him up though. I mean,
he is the master at getting teams up.
Wayne in a premiership is probably the most coveted connection in sport.
Yeah,
that is fair.
But I think if someone do it, it'd be Wayne.
Yeah. Momorowski, Stephen Crichton. What are your thoughts of Stephen Crichton starting on the wing? Like do you rate him at the wing, or do you think he's a bit wasted at the wing?
I think he's wasted at wing, and I think Momorowski is the weak link in that back line. Definitely.
I think Momorowski's there for defensive purposes over who Naden is it usually there? Or is it Staines and Crichton? Sorry, Staines and Crichton. Yeah.
Naden and Staines are both not in the 17. I think Momorowski's a bit of another Sammy Walker in the centres.
No, he's good defensively. I think like they, he's. I think the main reasons is there because he's defense. I think he came out and spoke about that as well.
Hands like feet though as well, and he's got gluey hands. He's got gluey feet, like hands like feet.
Hang on,
if you've got,
you remember when Souths played them 2 weeks ago? He's just put in 2 of the best try assists of the season. 2 little kicks over the top.
If not, I'd be worried if you got Stephen Crichton anytime try scorer because he's probably not going to touch the ball unless it's off a bomb.
Ooh, well, I don't know. I still think Penrith with Nathan Cleary, the form he's in.
Yeah, I think it's mitigating Brian To'o. He's averaging like 250 meters this year. It's fucked. And I know Reynolds come out and say we want to pressure Cleary more because I know he sort of tore him a new one. His kicking game did when they played the time. Shutting down those two definitely the key for South.
Oh, it's definitely going to be kicking game. Like if Reno and Cleary and Reno could just have a kick off for basically the full 80 minutes, and because there's going to be so many points in both teams. If you give them too many tackles in your 20, like you're just asking to concede points.
I think the 3 keys for Penrith. First is if you stop Brian To'o, then you sort of can mitigate the effect of Fisher Harris and their forwards on their go forward. And then that obviously put Cleary in a tougher position with his kicking game. So I think Chuck is right in the sense that Brian To'o is one of the most important places to shut down because if you can stop them getting field position, I think you're in with a red hot chance. So I think, that's a good observation.
I wouldn't be kicking the Toho.
Oh, not at all. What are your tips? Penrith. I'm going Penrith 13 plus. I don't see it not happening.
I'll go Penrith 1-12 and Rabbits to be up at some point in the match, and then the class of Penrith just to get him.
I think Penrith win. At the same time, I wouldn't be surprised if Souths put in a really good shift. I wouldn't be surprised if they put in a really good effort. and push them.
Okay, so your tip?
I'm tipping Penrith, but I'm bent sitting hard because I'm still South's my premiership tip from the start of the season. I would love to see it come off.
Yeah, I think I said at the beginning of the season, first game of the season will be the last game. I thought it was South's Melbourne. Probably not anymore, but we'll see. It still can happen if they win this weekend. Eels v Knights. I think 4 weeks ago, I would have said one would have been close. Not anymore. I think Eels. I think they've brought a lot of confidence, even though they got towed up last week. I think still with the side they've got, they should be able to do it.
Yeah, it's a little homicide on Sunday Arvo in Brownie Park.
Yeah,
one-way affair.
Wait, does anyone just
Manly, Para win well.
It's week one. It's week one finals.
Yeah.
Is anyone else wondering why the fuck 2 of the games are being played at like suburban footy ovals?
I rate it. I reckon it's good.
Nah, get your finals in the biggest stadiums you can.
They don't really have the access to do that.
To Suncorp.
I don't think they can have Suncorp 3 days in a row. I think something like COVID logistical there. That's why I'm not too sure.
Well, they're not at Suncorp at all.
And I don't think, like, maybe you could have a good qualifying final there. Like, you could have had maybe Melbourne and Manly there, but I know the Sunshine Coast Stadium got sold out this morning.
Yeah.
And I just think it looks better having a sold out game.
Yeah. Oh, I know what you mean. Yeah, sold out over empty seats.
Yeah, I like sold out.
Yeah, you're probably right.
But the Suncorp will definitely come in like week 2 and 3 of finals and granny.
Yeah, but back on the game, I think this will be the least close final. I think this is probably the biggest gap in teams facing each other in terms of. I think the standard you're going to get from Para week in, week out is a lot higher than the standard of Newcastle.
I can sort of agree. Yeah, week in, week out, but on a one-off performance, I think Knights can still catch them off guard. But what are your thoughts on the selection of Wonga, Blake, and Ferguson as a right edge, Chuck?
They don't quote me on this. I think they normally get named like that. But I know for ages, Blake has been left centre and Fergo has been right wing. It's happened for ages. So I'm confident that won't be changed.
Yeah.
And Matto's going to start.
Yeah, Matto's going to start, you think?
Potentially. Yeah, I'd like him to. I don't know what Sean Lane's doing there.
I mean,
Sean Lyon.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Sean White lines.
I wouldn't be surprised if that's the team they start with though as well, and then bring on Madison and Papali'i as well.
Yeah,
I think Papali'i in the middle has helped. I think Papali'i's been insanely good, but I think his defense on the edge has been questioned a little bit. It could have played a factor to why our edge defense is so weak. So, and I think he's been really good in the middle. And when Junior Paulo and Regan come off, you got Papali to come in and keep the balance. So I like that choice in a way.
I think what we may see is Niokore off for Matto after about 20 minutes. Get Madison in the game.
Matto's not even in the 17 at the moment.
Matto's on the bench at the moment.
18. He's 18.
Yeah, he's on the bench. Like he's 18th, but he's already been moved to the bench.
Has he?
Who?
Oh well, at least on the NRL live, not the official one, but the league live one, it's saying he's already listed on the bench.
Oh righto.
With 4 others or 3 others?
With Will Smith, Blake, Bryce Cartwright, and Isaiah Papali'i.
Oh, so
Makatoa went out.
Makatoa's already out. Yeah.
Okay.
Right. So I reckon Madison slots into that back row, and then.
Well, I think Madison will start with Niokore, in my opinion.
Oh, I like the idea of having like impact off the bench, though. I think that's a good way to nullify the Knights because I don't think the Knights will have the depth on the bench maybe to go with it. That's probably they'll have Sue Clemmer, King Jones.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, it depends which Para and which Newcastle comes out. I think, but I still think Paras should be able to do it.
I think Knights could. I think reality Knights will push Para a bit, but Para will be the classier side.
Yeah.
That's where I think the biggest gap on the weekend will be. I would have said Chooks Titans, but I think because of the injuries and inconsistency of the Chooks, it wouldn't, like, we've seen them almost lose to the Broncos and then lose. Like,
I mean, like the last time those two teams played, 34-35, and pretty similar teams. So
yeah,
not pretty similar. And I would say Chook's team better now. They didn't even have Teddy, and now you got like Adam Kyron and Drew Hutchison playing very decent rugby league. I don't know.
Yeah, that was a good final shot. Yeah, we're all going Para, I think, in that one. Even though I'd like Newcastle to win, we're all going Para in that one.
Yeah. They win well.
Yeah. Strong, the AFL, a very contrasting finals. Two finals games, Geelong versus GWS, probably not being as entertaining compared to Saturday night's game between Doggies and Lions. Can Geelong roll on with to beat the D's to go into the grand final?
Not a fucking chance. Geelong rolling on. I'm back in the D's all the way. I didn't really watch much of the Geelong GWS game because I thought the outcome was kind of just was going to happen. Didn't really matter how. I thought Geelong would win, and they did. They won convincingly. Toby Green really wouldn't have done much. He would have been a difference, but he's not going to. He wouldn't have been a 6-goal difference. I think Geelong were just better overall. The Brisbane Dogs game though was a fucking cracker. Lockie Neal had a pretty huge game. Jack McRae, McCluggage had his best finals game. Bailey Smith though is a fucking freak of nature. Like,
what's that? Weak foot,
good
on the boundary line.
On the boundary line, on his weak foot, a minute and a half to go, kicks the winning goal.
Wow!
Every 12-year-old girl in Melbourne just went crazy when that happened.
Yeah. I went crazy, and he fucking he had the balls through like the injection, like the
ice in the veins.
Fucking mate, it's what every person dreams of, and he did it. And I'm jealous of Bailey. I'd fuck Bailey Smith, honestly. I'd line up overnight and pitch a tent if Bailey Smith was just rooting people that walked in. I'd do it.
Righto, pitch a tent and also pitch a tent.
Pitch tent, but in saying that, the Doggies hot streak isn't going to run on this weekend, and the Doggies will lose to Port Adelaide. It'll be a Port Adelaide versus Melbourne Demons final.
That's a very good for fans wise. I think
first versus second. I think it's probably like you don't get a lot of first versus second finals.
No, you don't. You don't
get a lot of Port Adelaide Melbourne Demons, do you?
No, you don't either. That's right.
What called Melbourne deep in finals either. So yeah, I think it'll be good.
Good for the game.
I got a question, not really finals related. I just remember, does Chad Wingard still play for Port Adelaide?
Plays for Hawthorn.
Why is he so bad now? I thought he was like freak.
He had a good year. No.
Was he?
Freak.
Was he not freak?
Nah.
Okay.
He was good. He had a good couple years and he got a good deal. But like he went to Hawthorn at the wrong time.
Right.
He straight back to Melbourne, and you know when you're like you just missed the dynasty and you go anyway and you just know it's going to be a bad move. That's what he did.
Okay, fair enough. I just was thinking the other Chad Wingard for some reason. So your tips are for that Bulldogs. So you think Adelaide and Melbourne roll on through?
Adelaide and Melbourne roll on. Tips for Melbourne game, depending on Optus, Christian Petrarca and Clayton Oliver have more blinders.
Yep.
As Clayton Oliver finished top 3 in the Brownlow. And then Port, Travis Boak and Ollie Wines continue to do what they've been doing all year. And I think maybe ruck will be a bit of a problem against Port, and height will be a bit of a problem.
Yeah, for sure. We'll discuss those results as they move on to the grand final in 2 weeks.
In a week.
US Open in a week. Sorry. US Open been on. Yeah. We're bringing back Give Me a Dose. Give Me a Dose is tennis's peak age getting younger, as we're seeing a lot of these these flushers, these throbbers, as Chucko refers them to.
They are throbbers.
They're throbbers. They're doing a bit. They are doing a bit.
No, I wouldn't say the peak age is getting lower. I just feel like there's young guns coming back again, and
Oh yeah,
the dominance of like your top 3, top 4 players
he's gone.
isn't as much now. Now the young guns have more of a chance to come through, to make it to the later rounds now. Like right now, it's only Djokovic playing out of the big 4. Well, Murray got bounced week 1, round 1. So it's giving the young guns a chance. The Spanish 18-year-old, what's his name?
Alcaraz.
Alcaraz, yeah. Flusher.
He's playing Felix tonight.
Yeah, at 10:50. No, now.
Oh, he's playing now.
He's playing right now.
John.
10:58. Yep. All right.
Yeah.
Might switch that on later.
Yeah, but like, is Novak still dominating? I don't know how old he is, but he'd be in his 30s. So don't give me a dose on that. But there's young guys coming through.
I think it's good. I reckon my hot take in the women's was about a year ago. I noticed it. I reckon the general pool, there's a bit of a change in the guard. Like the top dominant players that we were used to having, especially in the women's, kind of dropped off and it became much more even. Like you're seeing more, not young but unknown players go deep in Grand Slams. And now I think without the dominance of Raf, Fed, and some others that have just dropped down the rankings, I think it's much more open. That's why seeing younger guys get through, because they're playing opponents that maybe a couple of years ago would have been top-seeded players, and now it's like...
Yeah, for the men's side, the changing of the guard's definitely happening. Like, I know Medvedev's number 2 in the world, Tsitsipas is 22, number 3 in the world. Roger and Rafa's like 5, and Rafa's like 8.
Yeah, Rafa would be 5th, Berrettini 6th.
Yeah.
Or 7th. Yeah. Berrettini 7th, maybe.
4th, maybe, but he's not playing.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's definitely changed the guard, and that's why younger guys are coming through now. It's good.
Yeah. I would have asked if Novak wins this Grand Slam, obviously he completes the calendar Grand Slam, first man to do it. The last man to do it was Rod Laver in 1968. Does this sort of settle the debate of which of those 3 is the greatest if he wins a calendar Grand Slam?
Yeah. Like,
don't give in to the Joker GOAT debate.
I think he has to. If you win a calendar Grand Slam, I think
and then he's overtaken on Grand Slam amounts as well.
I don't think he'll ever be regarded as the greatest of all time.
Yeah, because he's an A grade.
I love him.
There is no affinity to Novak Djokovic. There's no support. People genuinely dislike him. Like he's
got really passionate fans, but he's got a lot that
kind of like low key. Djokovic gives off massive Margaret Court vibes.
Oh,
huge Margaret Court vibes.
What do you mean by that?
Well, Margaret Court's arguably is the greatest female tennis player of all time, and she's not liked too much.
Is she? I don't think she's like close, is she?
Oh, I don't know. Like
one of.
Yeah. I
but my tip is Zverev pimps Novak in the quarter, in the semi-final. Zverev's winning.
Didn't he beat him last year in the US Open? Zverev?
Was it Zverev? I don't know.
Yeah, because it was Zverev versus Team, didn't it? In the final. I think Zverev did beat him. We'll see.
I'm just doing that.
We will see. You think Novak will not take it out?
That's more me not wanting him to, but they've got him in the Olympics, and he's on like a insane winning run at the moment.
Because Novak hasn't looked himself like he's been dropping sets all over the place. To be fair, but it could happen.
Can we just go back? So Serena, Steffi Graf, and Martina Gavrilova.
23.
And then Court.
Yeah, right.
It was on one list, but no one likes Court. It kind of gives the same vibes. Not like Court's Australia's most successful women's tennis player, but no one likes it. She's a bit past the time. Still racist, still homophobic. Doesn't really care about women getting equal pay. She's not liked by a lot. Fair to say.
Yeah, for sure. I think the story on the women's side, Ash Barty going out early.
Choke.
Little bit of a choke,
Sure.
5-2 up
Yeah.
with a serve in hand. I don't think. Yeah, I don't know. No answers really for.
I think there's a bit in Australia at least. Ash Barty's a bit of a throbber, and people have kind of jumped on the bandwagon a bit too early because I don't personally know if Ash has got it in her to be like one of the goats.
It's hard to say you've jumped on too early when
She's won 2.
she's a world number one.
Yeah, but
Australian tennis doesn't get too many world number ones.
she's also had a lot of early knockouts. So in between those, like
That is true. I can agree with that.
So that's what puts me off it. Is like, when I think of when I think of Serena, which is the benchmark, really, I don't think of getting knocked out early, having a server in the prime of your career.
Yeah, that is. Yeah, I agree. I agree with you there.
I rate Ash Barty, but I think she's like overrated generally. Generally, so then it kind of taints like my own perception of how good she is.
Like if she wasn't a good person, she'd be getting Nick Kyrgios at the moment. I reckon.
Like, imagine if she was a Nick Kyrgios in chick version, and she was winning. It would be great. Nick Kyrgios actually won a Grand Slam. That would be the ultimate shithousery. But Jamie Vardy's slide tackling like a gay pride corner flag. Nick Kyrgios winning. Nick Kyrgios beating Novak Djokovic in a fucking Grand Slam final, or Rafa would be prime time shithousery. Like,
That would be.
It would be fucking hilarious. There's no denial.
Yeah. Next section in Gimme a Dose, the F1, we've seen a bit of movement. Valtteri Bottas leaves Mercedes for Alfa Romeo, and George Russell signs for Mercedes. We should discuss this a little bit before getting on here. I think this is one of the best duos we're going to see in a long time. This is Turner. Yeah, no worries, Chuck. We have 4 minutes. We can fly through these lot. You won't know the F1. We'll leave the F1 for a little bit later. We'll come back to that. Paddy Cantlay picks up $15 million.
Yeah.
Paddy,
Fucking Paddy.
bit impressive as the Ryder Cup dawns on. I think there's more pressure than if you have a 6-footer, knowing because the gap between first and second is $10 million.
Yeah.
Like, there's no bigger sport that goes. There's
So you're saying a knee wobbler to not come second, so to like tie it is more important than a knee wobbler to win it.
Oh yeah, like because John Rahm didn't really have a chance to win it. I think.
Yeah.
That's there's no scarier sport than golf when it comes to money. I think.
Yeah.
It's UV a little hole. That's
yeah.
But well done, Paddy Cantlay.
That was I believe his 4th win.
Yep.
Yeah, and I was looking like on a PGA Tour Instagram post. The only players to do that since like 2000s, the FedEx Cup era.
Rory.
Rory 2012, Tiger did it like 4 times.
Yeah.
Jason Day 2015, Jordan Spieth 2015, and then I believe it was 2021 Patrick Cantlay. There might have been someone in between, but
Yeah, right.
pretty rare to do. He's
Pretty rare to do.
flying under the radar.
Yeah. Well done, Paddy Cantlay. And last one before Chuck rushes off. India. Is this one of the best cricket sides we've seen in the last decade or the last 20 years?
Not last 20 years because you got that golden age of Aussie cricket.
Yeah. But I still think if you're winning away from home, like in the manner they are, beating Australia in Australia, England in England, I think they're pushing themselves for one of the better sides.
I think they have. They've definitely been the best side in the world for a prolonged period of time.
Yeah.
I think it's kind of hard. I don't know. It's India.
I don't know if the win against England, even though it was at England, was that impressive considering
who England
how much England struggle with when they miss a couple guns.
Even missing I genuinely don't think England's top 6 like bothers anyone. I mean, if you look at England's top 6, it's pretty fucking underwhelming at the moment.
If you add Stokes to it.
Yeah, Stokes, Jofra, and Stokes
and Jofra is what's missing. And there's no denying that they're huge outs, but I'm not. I
I'll
think
give you a dose that they're one of the better teams in the last 15 years. Definitely.
Yeah, I'd be comfortable saying they're the best team in the last 10 years, definitely. Mate, or that early South Africa, like late
Stone, yeah.
2000s, early 2010s, pretty good. Morne Morkel, Stain,
Yeah.
AJ,
Yeah. Adam.
Elgar, JP. It's pretty good.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Chucker, I believe you have to jet.
I'll let you dribble on your F1. I'll let you kick it.
No worries.
All right.
Yeah.
Alrighty.
Okay.
Last point of the podcast. Yeah, we'll just finish off with some F1. George Russell, obviously the big news signing for Mercedes, but I think before that, talk about Max Verstappen takes championship lead at the home Grand Prix. I don't think, in terms of scenes of fans and at a place, I think that's probably one of the best scenes I've seen in a while. Just a sea of orange, just flares everywhere. I think it's good.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. I mean, it was a shame that the Grand Prix was fucking boring after the first lap.
Yeah, you sort of knew he was going to win.
No, it was. The track's cool. Like, it looks awesome. Watching the first lap was sick until you realised it was basically impossible to overtake on the whole track. And then, which kind of took away from it, because I thought it was really cool. But yeah, Max wins again. I was surprised that Red Bull were able to get so much pace early compared to Mercedes.
I think it's interesting. Like, even in the qualifying, Max had a few mistakes and wasn't even able to use DRS and still qualifying on pole. I think probably shows where the car is compared to everyone else at the moment.
Yeah, I think that track definitely suits
Red Bull a lot.
Suits Red Bull much more than the Mercedes, and we know that there's definitely a clash in like the two different cars. But yeah, I mean, good for Max. Makes the race more interesting. Makes the drivers'
championship.
Yeah,
they go to Italy, Monza this week. I think that'll be a good test. The big news this week: George Russell signing for Mercedes. Did you? Yeah, I think it's sort of one of the worst kept secrets. I think looking next year, it's going to be one of the strongest driver pairings since probably Rosberg, Hamilton. They're sort of turning back the clock with this. Yep. What are your thoughts on his signing?
Oh, I think it's huge for Merc just because of, especially the last couple of races. You got to compare it to what Red Bull have, and they have Max, obviously, but they have Sergio Perez as well, who's continuously making mistakes and find himself fairly far back on the grid.
Yeah,
so I think if you're Mercedes, like you're very excited for what the next couple of years is going to hold, and as a team, you'd be excited because you'd probably think you've got the edge over. In terms of the drivers'
champ, constructors, for sure.
Feel like you've got the edge. You've got the two better drivers. But yeah, so it's a huge signing, and Valtteri obviously to Alfa Romeo.
Yeah, as Kimi Raikkonen retires, so yeah, a big movement in the F1. Strongy, thanks for joining me this week.
Cheers, Johnny.
It's been good, and we'll see you guys next week.